our channel. My name is Teacher Smith and today we are going to do our third day of daily check-in activity. The topic that we are going to learn today is about circles. Now the first thing that we need to know about circle is in day-to-day life where we can find out circles. So let's have a quick examples on circles. If we look around, there are many of the examples that we can see. One is about the sky. There is a moon which looks like a circular in shape, and all the planets you can also see. There's also the wall clock that we can see is circular in shape, and also pizzas. We all love pizzas, right? These are all just the daily life examples on circles. Now let's try to understand how we can draw a circle on a blank piece of paper. So to draw a circle, the thing that we need is a point. So let's say there is a point that is at the center. Here you can see a black dot that is present. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a fixed distance from this black dot and draw another point. Here you can see a pink color dot that is present. Now I'm going to draw another point which is at the fixed distance from the center. You can see third point, fourth point, fifth point and sixth point that is present. Now what we are going to do is these are just six of the points, but if I draw infinite number of points from the center, we can get a shape, and if I join all the points, we can get a shape which is called as a circle. So what we can understand from a circle here, a circle is obtained from a point which is at the fixed distance from the center. Now there are few names that we want to remember. Here the name is the point from which we draw a circle. This point is referred to as center. We call it as the center of the circle. Now from the center of the circle, if I draw a line that touches the circle, this line is called as the radius of the circle. Now this is just one radius. If I draw more radius, and of course there are many radius, that will be called as the radii. It is called as radii if I mention radii. When there are multiple radius that are present. Now, if I draw a line that passes from the center of the circle and touches the circle at two distinct points, this is called as the diameter of the circle. So what is a diameter? Diameter is basically a line that passes from the center and touches the circle at two distinct points. Now, here what we can observe is this diameter is made from radius that is present. This is just one part of the radius and this is another part of the radius. So for one diameter, there are how many radiuses involved? Yes, there are two radiuses that we can observe in here. So if I write down the relation for the diameter and the radius, a diameter if I mention just by D and the radius just by R. So regarding D and R, there is a relation that is D is equal to 2 times of the radius that is present. So these are the parameters about the circles that we should know. The center, the diameter and the radius. Now for all the shapes that are present around, we know how to calculate the perimeter also, right? Let's say for rectangles, for squares. But let's see how we can calculate the perimeter for a circle. Now previously, back then, what people used to do is, around any of the circular objects, they used to tie a knot. And after tying a knot, they used to open the knot and measure straight open using a scale. But over a period of time, scientists have realized that there is a relation between the perimeter of the circle and the diameter that is present. So let's see what is the relation. Here if I show you, let's say there is a circle and this circle has a fixed perimeter around it. Now it also has the diameter that is present. So let's say if I try to increase the diameter of the circle, what will happen to the circumference? Let's just observe. When the diameter of the circle is increased, you can see the perimeter also increased. It got bigger in size. Now, if I decrease the diameter, you can also see the perimeter has also been decreased. So what conclusion we can make? When the diameter increases, perimeter of the circle also increases. When diameter decreases, perimeter also decreases. So there is a relation between both of them. So first thing we need to understand, the relation between them is basically a round shape, that is the perimeter. So to distinguish between straight lines and the round shape, they have given a specific name to it. And the name is circumference. The circumference is nothing but the perimeter of the circle. And let's say if I denote circumference just by using C, the relation between circumference and the diameter is circumference when I divide it with the diameter, always you can get one fixed value. And the value is 3.14159 dot dot dot. There are many of the infinite digits involved. So circumference upon diameter is this fixed value that is present. And since this is a fixed value, scientists have given it a name that is called as pi. Pi is nothing but 3.14 and many digits that are present. So, while calculating, can we take infinite number of digits? Of course not. So, what we can do is, if the value of pi is bigger, we only take two starting digits after the decimal. So, the value of pi is 3.14. Or else we can also take the value as 22 over 7. Now why 22 over 7? Because when you divide 22 by 7, you will get the same starting two digits that are present. That is 3.14. So that is the reason why for value of pi, there are two values. That is one is 3.14, other is 22 by 7. So one thing to pay attention while doing question. Whenever the question mentions the value of pi, we need to take note. If it's 3.14, take 3.14. If it's 22 over 7, take 22 over 7 into consideration. So what we can observe for circumference when it is divided by diameter, the value is equal to pi. So if I want to find out the value of circumference, what I have to do? Then circumference is just pi times d, that is present. So what we can conclude from this is circumference is always pi times the diameter. So here if I write down, it's pi times d, or else you can call it as pi d. Now there's another thing to think. Here, if diameter is present, is there a relation of diameter with the radius? Of course, we just saw diameter is 2 times of the radius. So if I substitute the value of 2r into this d, I can get another formula, that is circumference is 2 times pi times r, or else you can call 2 pi r. So what we can observe here is, if I know the value of the diameter, I can also get the circumference that is present. If I know the value of radius, since pi we also know, 2 is already there, we can also get the circumference that is present. So from diameter and radius, we can get the value of circumference. So why not, remembering this, let's try to few out some questions based on this. So let's say the first example question is, here if the radius is 5 centimeter, I need to find out what is the value of circumference. So what I can see, there are two of the formulas that are present. One is regarding diameter and the second relation is about radius. Can anyone tell me which one should I use? Here radius is given. So which one should I use? Of course, the second one. The second one is circumference is 2 times pi times r. So if I write down circumference is 2 times pi times r, I need to find out what is the circumference. So here 2 is already there. What is the value of pi? Oh, the question says it's 3.14. So let's just substitute the value, that is 3.14, and the radius that is given to us, that is pi. So to calculate it is just 5 times 2. If I calculate it, it's just 10. And 10 times 3.14 is 31.4. That is in centimeter. So what we can observe from here is, if radius is given, we can easily find out the circumference by just using the relation. But let's say if diameter is given, let's say diameter is 4 and I need to find out what is the circumference. So can anyone tell me which formula I should use, 1 or 2? Of course, just 1, because the first formula gives us relation of diameter and the circumference. So if I write down circumference is pi times d. Now I'm going to find out circumference, pi. What is the value of pi? It's just 3.14. So we'll write down 3.14 times the diameter that is present. Here the diameter given to us is just 4. So if I multiply this, 3.14 times 4 is 12.56 centimeter. So what I can observe, from diameter also we can find out the value of circumference. Now let's take one more step further. Let's say if circumference is given, can we find out radius? Of course, it's just in the full formula, one value is missing, that is radius. So I can easily find out. So the formula for circumference and the radius, the relation is circumference is 2 times pi times r. But I need to find out radius. So radius, the formula becomes is nothing but circumference divided by 2 divided by pi that is present. So here, if I try to find out the value of the radius, here this simply becomes circumference. Do we know its value? Of course we know. So here it's nothing but 9.42, which is divided by 2, which is again divided by the value that is pi. Pi is how much here? It's simply 3.14. So now if I try to find out the value here, 9.42 divided by 3.14 is simply 3, and 3 divided by 2 is nothing but just 1.5 centimeter. So what I can observe from here also, if the circumference value is given, I can also find out the radius that is present. So in the full equation, if just one value we know, we can get the other one easily. So this was just about the perimeter of the circle. But regarding shapes, we also know every of the regular shapes have perimeter and also its area. So let's try to see how we can get the formula for area of a circle. Now regarding shapes, we all know how to calculate area of a square, area of rectangles. But area of circle is something that is new for us. So let's try to see how we can relate the circles with the rectangles and the square. So to relate it, what I'm going to do is, for area of a circle, I'm going to divide the circle into 8 of the following parts. So let's see what happens. This is a circle and now I have divided into 8 parts that you can see. Above there are 4 blue and below there are 4 red that are present. Now this is very interesting. What I'm going to do is, I'm going to rearrange the parts that are present. So here, after rearranging, it looks something like this. 4 blue at top, 4 red at bottom. But you can see there are some spaces in between this. So I'm going to stack it together to look something like this. Now the shape that is present in here, what I can observe, does this remind you of any shape? It looks something like a parallelogram, but is it exactly a parallelogram? We can see there are two straight lines that are present, but this line is more curved. So it's not exactly a parallelogram, but similar to it. So to make the curve a bit more flat, I'm going to divide it more into further parts. So if I divide it more into, let's say, 16 parts, the figure looks something like this. Now you can see the curve that is present in here has become a little bit flat, and the slanting lines that are present have become a bit more tilted towards vertical. Then what I'm going to do, to make it more flat, I'm going to divide it into more of the following parts. That is, let's say, 32. And if I divide it into 32, it looks like this. You can see a big straight line and the slanting lines that are present. But is it exactly a straight line? You can see there's still some bit of curves that are present. Now, can anyone tell, if I want to make it exactly flat, what I have to do? Yes, just divide it into more parts. So if I divide it into more parts, let's say countless parts, it looks something like this. Is this a known shape for us? Of course, yes, it looks like a rectangle. So, can I find out the area of the rectangle that is present? Of course, yes, we know the formula for it. So, if I get the area of rectangle, I can easily get the area of the circle that is present in here. So, for a rectangle, can anyone tell me what is the formula? Yes, it's just length times its width. So I need to find out what is the length. I need to also find out what is the width. These are the two things that I need to find. So let's just check how can I find out the width that is present. Now this width is similar to the width that is present in here for this blue line. Now this is the blue slanting line that I can observe in here, which is similar to the blue slanting line that is present here, which is exactly similar to the blue slanting right from the starting point to here. Is there something that we can know about a circle and this line? Yes, this line that is present is nothing but the radius of the circle. So this is nothing but just the radius, that is just r. Now I've got the width of the circle. What about the length that is present? Now to find out the length, one thing we can observe, the length is exactly the red shaded part and it starts from one point to the another. So if I can go back to see the figure, it is something like this. And when I fold it, it looks something like this, that is present. From here, from this point, it is more curved towards till here. So this is the length that I want to find. Is there something that we know about the length of this part of the perimeter? Of course, it's just the half of the circumference. The full circumference of the circle is just nothing but circumference is equal to 2 pi r. And if I want to take half of the circumference, then it simply becomes just pi times r. So this is simply pi times r, that is present, half of the circumference. Now, I have the length, I have the width. Can I find out the area of this part that is present, which is similar to the rectangle? Of course. So area is nothing but, we can easily get the value, that is pi r times r. And if I want to find out the exact value, it's pi times r square, because there are two r's that are multiplied. So what I can see, the area of the rectangle that I just got is simply pi r square. And this area of the rectangle is equal to the area of the circle that we just got. So the area is simply nothing but pi times r square. So one thing to pay attention on is, regarding area, there is a relation with the radius that is present. Area is related to radius. So remember, if radius is given, we can find out area. If area is given, we can easily find out the radius, because pi value is just constant that is present. So if I try to summarize here, the area of a circle, let's say if I call it as A, and the formula is A is equal to pi times r square. So let's try to see what is the relation between area and radius using some example question. So here, let's say if I have this example. Find the area if the diameter is given to us, that is 14, and the value of pi is given. So if I see the formula for area that is present, area is pi times r square. Area, the relation of area is with radius. It's not with the diameter that is present. So what can I find out radius from diameter? Of course, yes. So first thing what I have to do is, I have to convert this diameter into radius. So if diameter is 14, how to find out radius? Just divide it by 2. So here, radius is nothing but, that is just r. Radius is simply 14 divided by 2, which is equal to 7 centimeter. Now, this is just the value of radius. I have to find out the area. So, for area, what is the formula? Area is equal to pi times r square. Now, what I got? I got the formula. I just have to substitute the radius that is present. I can get area. So, here if I substitute the value for area is nothing but pi. Is the value given? Of course, yes. It's just 22 over 7 times radius square. Radius square means radius times radius. So which is nothing but 7 times 7, which is nothing but, if I see, can I simplify any of the values that are present here? Of course, it's just 7 ones are and 7 ones are. So here if I try to find out the final answer for the area that is present, 22 times 7, which is nothing but 154 centimeter square. So what I can observe from here, if the value of radius we know, we can easily get the area, because for diameter there's no direct relation with the area. We have to convert it into radius to get the value of area that is present. So this is just the first example when diameter is given, how to calculate area. But let's say if the radius is given, if radius I have to find out and area is given, so let's see how to find it. Now, area and radius, is there any relation? Of course, yes. We just saw that area is nothing but pi times r square. But I have to find out the value of radius. But from this equation, what I can get? I can only find out r square. R square will be nothing but equal to area divided by pi. Now, if I substitute the value, that is r square is nothing but area. Do we know its value? Of course, it's just 50.24, which is divided by pi. Now, value of pi is how much here? The question says is 3.1 sure. Make sure you pay attention to this value. It's 3.14 in here. Now, if I divide, here r square is 50.24 divided by 3.14, which is nothing but just 16 centimeters square. But this is just r square. I have to find out what is the value of r. So, I have to find out r, how to get it. One thing we can observe, it's r square. R square means r times r is nothing but I got it as 16. So one thing, it's like two same numbers, r times r. Two same numbers, when we multiply, we get 16. What is this number? Let's just think. Two same numbers. Oh, it's just 4. And what I can observe, 4 times 4 is nothing but 16 that is present. So, what is the value of r? Then r is equal to just 4 centimeter. So, what I can observe from this question, if radius is given, we can find out area, which is very simple, directly substitute to get area. But if area is also given, we can find out r square. Now, from r square, how to calculate area? We just need to find out the product of two same numbers. Or else you can also say it as root of the number. That is, root of 16 is nothing but 4. So, whichever way is convenient, you can use to get the answer. So, what we can observe from here is, if the value of both of them, that is radius is given, we can get area. If area is given, we can get our r square to get the answer. So, this was just about an introduction about a new topic which will be tested in PSLE, that is next year. So, regarding circles, this is just a common knowledge about what is its radius, what is the relation of diameter with radius, what is the circumference, that is perimeter of a circle, and also how to calculate the area of a circle. So now, after this, there will be a question that will be sent to you for the daily check-in activity based on the concept that I just taught you. So, if you have mastered the topic well, you can scan the QR code here and can join the group to have questions based on this topic regarding circles. And if you have any of the doubts, you can also post it here in our WhatsApp community group. So, for now, this is day 4. I'm Teacher Smith signing off for now, but I'll see you in the next video. See ya.